Hello there, Internet. How's it going? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for clicking on this one. My name's Pat Dan, and today we are back on the site to end all sites. Reddit gets drawn badly. Many people are saying this is the greatest website of all time. I may be among those few. Now, let me say, I have chosen an image. This is the image we've chosen to draw. It's a series of images, but I'm just going to do this one because I'm a simple man. You might be wondering, Pat Dan, this image is lacking zane. This image isn't as crazy as we'd expect from you. You know, we want a little silliness, a little whimsy, and I feel like this is lacking in the image that you've chosen today. Pat Dan, have you changed what's going on? It's just a normal photo of a person. That was a long-winded, very long-winded of saying, oh my God, that was a very long-winded way of saying what you wanted to say there, but I think I got the gist. And to that, I will respond by telling you that the site is in a currently interesting state. Okay, there's a very there's a very widespread trend that is going around among its users. Any Reddit Gets Drawn Badly fans out there in the audience, you'll know this very well. I don't know if there's actually a fan base for this subreddit. Like, I don't know what the user base's perspective on it is, if they like see it as like this big thing or if it's just kind of like a casual, I don't know. Anyway, basically there's like currently a trend on Reddit Gets Drawn Badly where everyone's asking for a fursona. And yes, I love a good fursona. You're right about that. You're thinking, what do you mean? What's wrong with fursonas? You love fursonas. Like, why would you not want to do that? Fursona's wonderful, great. I would love for this trend to persist for all of time. Only issue is I don't really have the capability of drawing a fursona. So that kind of leaves me in an interesting spot where I'm like, hey, I would do this, but I've never drawn a fursona ever in my life. I don't know what animals look like, don't know what people look like, to begin with, but at least I can fake my way through that. A person is a little bit easier to fake for me than an animal just because of my, field of expertise. But the animal, we're stepping into unknown territory there, and I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if this is a good idea, guys. So, just a little, I don't know why I hit that voice line there. Sometimes I do things just because I want to sound cool. And that wasn't one of those times. What that was there was I was trying to sound interesting. I was trying, sometimes I feel like I'm not enough for you guys. I'm like, hey, I'm so boring. Like, they want so much more from me. How do I give them more? And then I'm like, I'm just going to do a silly voice because I have an intense longing to be appreciated and loved by my audience. And sometimes it feels like I got to go above and beyond, to feel that love. Anyway, just a little insight into the mind of Pat Dan. I feel like there's like a really specific style to the fursona. Like if you've ever seen a furry artist, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I couldn't describe it. I couldn't put it into words for you. I can try to describe it, but it's going to be inaccurate. I would say the furry style, it has an almost, it's definitely very focused on soft, like, lines. To me is the vibe. It, like, line art very soft, feels very non-confrontational, but then the style of the characters themselves often, it often goes against the grain of non-confrontational and takes it into a whole other realm of confrontation. The characters are usually, a little bit rascally. They have like a little bit of a frightening energy to them. I'm gonna try and get some perspective in on this. It's gonna look okay. You know what I just realized it's gonna look like? I just realized that it is going to look like I'm trying to give a skinniness to this individual and project a different body image upon them. Not my intention. I was trying to do a little perspective action here. Hopefully I can push it in such a way that makes that clear. But if I don't, just know it was on accident. It was an accident. It was purely an accident. No harm was intended. Whether harm was, actually enacted, that's a different story. We will leave that up to the audience, you. But yeah. Anyway, the furry style is, oh my god, why do I keep undoing? I don't mean to be. Oh my fucking god. Fuck, dude. I'm fucking out of it today. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Everyone, let's just take a breath, okay? The furry style is one that's like very far, I feel, from my own. And I don't know if I can do it justice. I'm sure no one would be upset at what I've done, but I'm sure they wouldn't be excited either. And I just don't want to, I don't want to risk any major upsets in the community. You know what I'm saying? People might go crazy. People might go insane style on it. So, that's my take on the current furry situation. Okay, come back later for more updates on that one. Also, big news you may notice: mic quality up. You might be thinking, Pat Dan, wow, did you like change the environment? Did you like go to a new room or something? Like it sounds so much clearer. Maybe it even sounds worse. I don't actually know what your perspective on it is, but I'll answer the questions that you'll be having right now. Yes, I indeed have made a change to the setup. We are in new mic territory. Welcome to the world of new mic. It is a Samson Q2U, a go-to for the beginner YouTube crowd, and old reliable microphone. I will say the reason I switched was because my old mic was giving me a lot of issues. Like it kept just giving me pops, and like it kept just glitching out my audio and making everything sound really weird for no reason sometimes. So there was some weird like artifacting going on. Anyway, you probably heard it if you've watched any of the other videos and you know why it's so bad. But this new one, less problematic, does its job, does what it's supposed to, which is really what you want out of any piece of equipment, and it's given me that. So, oh my gosh, this selection tool sucks. So we don't have to really worry about that as much anymore. You might be thinking, Pat Dan, it's still pretty awful. Why does like the oh my goodness, the selection tool's geeking. Why are the sibilants? Why? Okay, fucking. I'm getting so distracted by the selection tool. You might be thinking, why is the sibilance still awful? Like, why is there horrible, pop reduction? Like, what is happening? That I will say that is one of the still remaining issues of this microphone, and I'd like to think it's a staple of my style. I think it like everybody has their own thing, right? Like Pablo Picasso has got the cubism, Andy Warhol has got, pop art. There's, every great artist of his time has a specific, visual style, identity, maybe not even visual. It might be, in my case, sonic style, but by that I do mean the hedgehog, that really separates them from the crowd. In my case, I'd like to think that it is the bad mic quality and the weird sounds that occur because of that. That's kind of where I'd like to think that my identity comes from. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not the audience, so if you guys associate with me with that, let me know. If you don't, then you're not a real fan, and please leave, because that's really all that my channel is. It's kind of a social experiment on how people will react to bad mic quality. You guys are unwillingly participating in it. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. On the topic of the great artists of the world, I've been thinking about recently, like something big on my mind has been like, how do I, want my legacy to reflect on the world? Big question, right? Like, how do I want people to see me? Like when they're reading their textbooks and they see my name, Pat Dan Draws, in there among the other many great artists of our time. what are they gonna think? You know, how are they gonna see that name? What is it gonna bring up? Like, is it gonna be bad feelings? Is it gonna be good feelings? How are they gonna approach talking about me in the history classes, as they most certainly will be doing? Um, and I think what I've landed on, you know, my preferred uh legacy would be one of, you know, like chill guy. Like I want to be seen as just like a normal guy. That's I think my big effort in my life, like my overarching goal. I want to create like a legacy of, hey, this guy's just like us, but he kind of made a lot of cool stuff, you know? Like he made this awesome thing, but like he's kind of just like us. I That's kind of where I'm aiming. Will I get there? I'm not sure. You know, we can find out through our experimentation here. And eventually, you know, if you're watching this 100 years in the future, you'll know. Do they even remember him at all? Who is this guy that's talking about this? Like he's gonna be a big thing. Why is he acting all high and mighty? You know, what is this freak's deal? All thoughts probably going through your mind right now. And I will say, valid thoughts to be having. Okay, I'm just gonna validate them right here up front. Um, but you know, it's good to have theoretical plans. These are my theoretical plans in the event that I, you know, get a big name for myself. Okay, I think the issue, right, the current issue with our many founding fathers of art history, we look at them all like they're just like geniuses, right? Like they're the best of their craft. Like they've put in their 10,000 hours and over, you know, like they have devoted their lives to this craft and it turned out well for them. You know, their devotion was worth it because in the end they became the greatest of all time, innovated the field, you know, done things that no one has done before or since. And I think where I'm going to deviate from that, okay, this fucking sucks. Where I'm going to deviate from that is making horrible pieces of art that make you want to spit out your food when you look at it. No. Where I'm going to deviate from that, right, is I'm going to put in zero effort. I'm going to put in zero effort and make a couple things that people look at and are like, hey, that's actually not bad, in like a surprising, unexpected way. And I think having that preconceived notion of, oh, this guy didn't put any effort, he's going to make something bad, gives me a boost, because then people are like, oh, that's actually pretty solid when I make something good. It's like a surprise, a little surprise for them. And I'd like to think that I'm on my way there. You know, thus far I've put in zero effort across the board. People sometimes when they see something that I make that's kind of cool, they're like, hey, that's kind of cool. So, you know, I think I'll get there soon enough. Cause when I am remembered, right? When I am remembered as the great artist that I am, I really don't want to be like, I don't want to be like a piece of a larger movement, in the sense that I was just a pawn, you know? Like to me it almost feels like like Banksy almost feels like a pawn to me, right? Like he's a pawn in an artistic movement. Did he begin the movement? Did he start the thoughts? Yes. But like it feels like history and culture has taken it and ran with it in a way that makes him like, yes, a founding father, but also like uh a representation, like a piece that isn't just a man. Like he you know, he's lost that human touch. Does that make sense to anybody? I don't know if I sound crazy right now, but that's kind of my thought process. And I think I think I can, you know, break the mold, be a normal guy for once. I think it's possible. Let me know, you guys. Let me know. Um, okay. So I'm having a really hard time with this one for some reason. Something about the way that I've done this, I don't know how, but it's like severely deviating from the norm somehow. And it looks a lot different from the way it usually does. I couldn't tell you why. I couldn't tell you why. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's because I'm lacking confidence in my brush strokes. Um, and I am not doing things in a like I'm not layering things in a correct way. Um, but I guess we'll see what comes out of it. We have not a lot of time left here. I like to think of these videos like as equivalent as the artist's equivalent to Minecraft build battle, right? Like a pro Minecraft builder, if you put him under ideal conditions, if you give him every single block, if you give him, free reign in a creative world, with world edit, he can do anything. The world is literally his oyster. He can do whatever he wants. He can create things that the average Minecraft builder couldn't even think of, couldn't imagine. I feel like this is that for me. Like I am under a time constraint. I'm not competing against other people, but I feel like I am. And those other people are like the past me's. It's like when you do like a race in a racing game and you can see the ghost version of yourself. That's what this is. And I am restricted to like a theme, and the theme is the photograph that I get from Reddit Gets Drawn Badly. That's just, that's how I see this. I don't know how many of you guys know of this particular, um, you know, big, big guy. There's a particular big guy, and by big guy, I mean two guys. Um, for those Minecraft YouTube viewers out there, you might recognize the names Jerry versus Harry, a classic YouTube channel of the before times, since perished, unfortunately. My thoughts and prayers go out to Jerry versus Harry. They're not actually dead. They just quit the channel. Just to make that clear, that did sound like they were dead the way that I phrased it. They were not dead, or they are not dead. They did not die. But anyway, Jerry versus Harry, the goats of all time. I am like an avid fan of them. I would say still an avid fan. Maybe I would consider myself an avid fan, despite the fact that they don't post videos and I don't watch them every day. Like for a channel that doesn't post videos anymore, I'm about as avid as a fan as you can get. Like I come back to their videos sometimes and rewatch, just to get the vibes of the olden days. I would say that's avid fan material. If I have ever seen an avid fan, then that's what they are. Maybe I haven't seen an avid fan then, but in my professional opinion, I'm an avid fan. And being an avid fan, I think about how I can, replicate their legacy. I think about it all the time. The Jerry versus Harry formula is a very simple one. They play build battle and record it, and then they say things to each other. It's a very simple idea, right? It's a very simple idea done many times before. What separated them from the crowd? One, they were twins, I think. Were they? Actually, I don't know. I kind of always just assumed they were twins, but I don't know if they ever mentioned it. I've always assumed they were twins. Maybe they're just brothers. Maybe they're not even brothers. Maybe they're just friends. But they sound exactly the same. So no, the thing is about Jerry versus Harry, their voices are literally indistinguishable. And the only way that you can tell who's speaking is by like paying attention since the beginning, based on whose skin is the intro, and then following their voices going back and forth and never forgetting which one is speaking at any given time. As soon as you stop following who just talked last, you're cooked. So you have to keep a really diligent eye. Keep notes while you're watching is what I do usually. But and any Jerry versus Harry fan knows this is the optimal tech. It's classic, done by all. And I think something about the fact that they're so similar, not only in voice but in like personality and vibe, like they bounce off of each other so well, and they just say facts. That's one of their big things in their videos. They would just say facts. They would just be like, hey, did you know that the beluga whale actually eats 6,000 pounds of food in one day? Isn't that crazy? Like stuff like that, where you're like, okay, like I didn't know that, and it's kind of interesting, but why'd you bring it up? Like I'm happy you did. Like a great fact. I'm really glad to have known that now. But why was that on your mind? Like, where did that come from? And it's kind of just an eerie, weirdo kind of vibe where you're like, is this guy a creep? Is this guy a freak? Or is he just like, is he just like kind of on the spectrum? Like who's to really say what the difference is? Is there a difference? I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of my current idols, Jerry and Harry of Jerry versus Harry. They've been doing a lot of good stuff recently. I actually don't know if they've been doing any good stuff recently. I have no idea what they're doing. They're off the internet as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if they still have like another channel that they make videos on. I don't know. I'm just a Jerry versus Harry fan, not an other channel fan. So if anyone out there knows where they're at, don't tell me. I was gonna say let me know, but don't. That was just a muscle memory of the phrasage that is typically said. Don't let me know, actually. This looks really bad. Can we say that? Can we say that? Because I just did. So if I am not allowed to say that, we're gonna have to take this video down. I didn't know that was not permitted on the platform, so that's all my bad. My bad, chat. Okay, what is up? Why? What is up here? Something is just simply wrong. Like, of this whole thing. Something's wrong about this whole entire mess that we've got. I don't know if line art can save this, but I'm going to try. I don't think it can. I really think we're just done for. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Boom. Okay. Hopefully, if we say that this was supposed to be like more of a, a silly cartoonified, non-proportional, goofy type beat, which is what I originally intended, but then I forgot halfway through. We can probably get away with this, right? Okay, so you know what I just discovered right now? Here's what the issue is. I can't actually see what the reference image looks like, so I'm drawing from memory. That's what it is. Because the reference image right now, if you could see it, it's really tiny. Like, it's so small to the point where I'm guessing most of what I'm doing right now. That is what the issue is. So any, fellow Reddit Gets Drawn Badly MS painters out there, big tip, number one tip from me, make sure you can see your reference image. We've just discovered this. It's a huge, massive thing. So this isn't the face that I've been presented with. This is a random face. Like, this is my average guy face that I draw on every single character. Like, if you were to hand me a pencil and paper and ask, draw an average guy, it would literally be this. Like, I'm not joking. Do I have to add eyelashes to make it look like more feminine? Is that what we're stooping so low as to do? And it's not even working. Like, why? Why is the world so cruel to me in more ways than you can imagine? This morning, you know what happened? I woke up and I had slept through all my alarms. Imagine that. Imagine my surprise when I do the same thing that happens to me every day. And that, you know what? Many people would say that's my fault. That's, you need to set better habits, get better routines. No, that's the world's fault. They're preying on my downfall there, is what that is. So let me be clear about that. I'm not at fault for anything I've ever done. It's the universe, which is clearly, my opposition, so to speak. This might be the worst. I say this every time, but this time I'm genuinely serious when I say this might be the worst thing ever. Not just like the worst thing I've ever done, but the worst thing ever. Okay, so now let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not even looking at the reference image anymore. That's how you know, like, we've gotten down into the dirty thick of it. I think we can just like fake these fingers because it's so bad, like, that people aren't even going to care if the fingers look horrible. And by people I mean no one's going to see this because I don't have an audience. Also, there's background noise, so say hello to the crackling in the background. What is that, you might be asking? I don't even know. It's a strange garage noise. The garage just makes that noise sometimes. It's the ghosts of garage past, I guess. I don't know. All right. In any case, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so very much for your time. I've been Pat the New Brigade. Until next time. Kick rocks, pal. Bye bye.